Welcome back to MEGs Mysteries. This is the case of the missing debutantes. England, 1890s. My name is Blake Moore, and I work as a bobby, a police officer, with the Scotland Yard Canine Department. I'm in charge of the unit and also the handler for Sergeant Sherlock, the best canine on the force. He is a bloodhound, and he has helped close many cases, the most challenging cases we had, with his incredible sense of smell. He also lives with me since he was a young pup in training for the force. He worked on the first case together in 1888, Jack the Ripper. He was only a young pup then. I was new on the force too. You heard about that case, and it's still open. But now we're on a new one, and it's 1895. A wealthy young debutante is kidnapped right from her own home. No one saw or heard anything. She just vanished. I was working on the case with the best officers and detectives in Scotland Yard. Sherlock and I were called in for the search. This was our biggest case since Jack the Ripper. We needed all the help we can get. Like I said, Sherlock lives at home with me and my wife. We also have a tuxedo cat named Watson. I named them both after my favorite Sherlock Holmes books. It seemed fitting. Sherlock has a way of solving the hard cases. But I'll let them tell you the rest of the story. You don't know this about me, but I communicate with my furry friends. They have a way of getting info that we humans can't. I believe they speak to the spirits and the unknown. Watson here, and I'm with the big guy, Sherlock. We help out when we can, but don't tell anyone. I'm the brains of the outfit. You thought it would be Sherlock, didn't you? But I'm the cat behind the famous bloodhound detective. Yes, we are detectives in our way. We could sniff out most of the hidden items or lost people. This time, it's going to take both our talents, his sense of smell and my way of getting around when no one notices a cat on a prowl. I get into places undercover, so to speak. This case of kidnapped, maybe murdered, young Debs, who had all the money in the world, looks, and a perfect lifestyle. 4 girls are missing, taken right from their own homes, all from English wealthy families. This will be a difficult one. The first girl, Myrna Richardson, was taken right from her bedroom. Last seen around midnight, she had come home from the opera, went to bed, and never was seen again. No ransom note was received. Then 3 more Debs are kidnapped in a month's time. Same thing, right out of their homes. No trace, just vanished. Scotland Yard is at its wit's end, and the pressure from the families and the public outcry is overwhelming. Blake came home and was telling his wife, Martha, about the case. Sometimes it helps him focus when he talks it out with her. Sherlock and I were curled up by the fireplace, but listening intensely to the info and what they knew so far. And it wasn't much. They held no hope of finding the girls alive. It was weeks, and no more to go on. I told Sherlock, they need our help just like the last case, a missing child we found safe and sound. I have to convince Sherlock he's still upset that he didn't find Jack the Ripper. But I tell him you were just a young pup and just starting out on your first case. You did help find some of those poor victims, didn't you? Then he perks up and agrees. He teases me and says, "The game's afoot, Watson," just like the character he is named after. And so we begin. We help Blake on the case. Animals are in contact with spirit world, and most of the time the ghost of the victims or some supernatural help, they give us information and we pass it along to Blake. So while Scotland Yard and the other bobbies are on the search, we just tag along. I hide in the shadows and follow them. Sherlock does his thing and they follow his lead. This time it was a sad outcome. we found the first missing girl. Sherlock brought them right to the body, and it was in the park nearby her home. She was buried under the oak tree. She must have been murdered that same night. She was still dressed in her nightgown. But why and how, we have no clues. There are still 3 girls out there, society girls from the same social circle. All the same, just vanished. It could be anyone who knew them, family, friends, their servants, or workers. One such person who knew all the girls was the family doctor, Dr. Grayson, the doctor for the wealthy families of the area. He had an ironclad alibi. He was an old man who brought them into the world. Why would he take their lives? They also went to the same private all-girls school. It could be a student, a worker at the school, or even a teacher. I told Sherlock, we have to tell Blake to check out on the school. I have a feline sense that that's where they're going to find the answers. We give him the message, I guess you can say, telepathically. He can ask the detectives and the team to check out the school. They're willing to listen to anyone's idea right about now. Timing is running out. We went with Blake on the search around the area by the homes of the girls. They all live close by to each other on their own estates. There was a bridge, and Sherlock got a sense of the girls. He had it locked in his brain from the earlier search from the clothes. Sadly, we found the bodies of 2 girls. They were under the underpass of the bridge. It was a grisly sight. I don't know how the search team missed it the first time. Maybe the bodies were dumped afterward. The whole team was called to the location, and there was still 1 girl out there. Maybe she's still alive. I was lurking around and found tracks going up to the bridge from the underpass. Also, a glove was dropped, maybe by the killer. Small footprints like a woman or a small man, and some drag marks all the way down the embankment. So this person or persons just dumped the bodies, almost in their own backyards. The ghost of one of the girls gave me a clue. Go to the school, that's where the killer will be. Told you, I see and hear spirits, and I talk to them. So now we're off to the school. Sherlock will get his chance to sniff out any new clues. We're still here at a dead end, and this is the only connection we didn't investigate yet. All the girls went to the same school. Blake and the others took Sherlock, and he got a sense right away from the glove. And he took him right to a classroom filled with students. And Sherlock went right up to the teacher, a small, nervous man, Mr. Finch. Sherlock and he locked eyes. Sherlock pounced before he could run off. I was watching from the window and said, "It's him, I know it." Blake and the others were all over him, and he was brought in, screaming, "Get that hound away from me!" Then the truth came out when questioning him. He yelled, "Yes, I did it. I did it all. They all treated me like dirt, like I was nothing. I tried to teach them and be their friend, but I was only a lowly teacher, not worth knowing. They all paid the price. They all thought they were above everyone else. I showed them. I strangled them all." When asked if the 4th girl was still alive, he laughed and said, "You'll never find her." But we did, and she was not killed yet. He had her hiding in the basement, locked in a secret room, but Sherlock found her. She was to be the next victim, but we got there in time. He kept her alive to show the power he had over life and death. She told us he was always so creepy. He would lean over us in class and always leer at us. That small, creepy man. We were going to report him, but never had the chance. I think he knew we were going to tell. When asked how he took the girls, he smiled and said, "Easy when people are so predictable. The wealthy have their set ways. You just have to observe them and blend in." So I disguised myself as a delivery man and got into their homes. I stayed there and drugged their tea with a sleeping draught. All they had the same routine every night, nice cup of tea at bedtime. So, nighty-night all, sleep tight. I waited till all went to bed, then just picked up the girls and slipped away in the night. The last girl was saved and home safe at last. But sadly the others paid the price for just being young, wealthy girls that attracted a killer. We got our man, as they say. Now the Bobby, Blake Moore, is promoted to Detective Sergeant Moore for all his help. We still live with him and Martha, and we'll be on hand to sniff out any cases with him in the future. Sherlock and Watson at your service. Until next time. I hope you enjoyed this story. Come back for more at Meg's Mysteries. Until next time.